Hey everyone, Michelle Alexandria coming at you with a bunch of videos today, and they're going to be mostly reviews, starting with a look at Glory on 4K UHD. I rented this through my 4K rental service, and man oh man oh man, this reminds me of why do I always look over there? I don't know. I honestly don't know, but man oh man, is this not a beautiful transfer? I have never actually seen this movie before, but it reminds me of why I really got an OLED TV and a really expensive 4K player. Watching movies like this, you can't. Streaming just doesn't do it justice. And I've never actually seen Glory, so this was my very first time actually seeing this movie. And I gotta say, it is a stunning movie. I've always heard about it. I've always heard about how great this movie was, and watching it in 4K is just brilliant. There's some grain to it, but on my 4K player, the grain is kind of smoothed out. And you would expect a movie like this to have a lot of grain, simply because it's a really old movie, came out in like 1989 or something like that, and it is just a classic movie. It stars Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, a very young Carrie Hughes, and a very young Matthew Broderick. The movie, and I'm gonna have to break out my iPad here and look at IMDb so I can tell you. I'm gonna try not to review the movie for you, but I just gotta tell you, basically it's about Matthew Broderick stars as a young, as Robert Gould, who actually led the very first black regiment Company 54 during the Civil War. And basically this was the very first company of black soldiers who were placed in the front lines of battle. And after their success on the battlefield, it convinced Lincoln to actually enlist over 180,000 black people to fight for the northern side during the Civil War. And if it wasn't for them, then, you know, America would have lost. Basically, the South would have won the Civil War if it wasn't for all those black soldiers. And the really weird thing about watching this movie is we know how it all turned out, and it didn't turn out well for black folk until like 1968. So it's just another case of black people doing a lot for this country and not getting recognized for it and getting abused for it afterwards. And I'm not trying to get political or anything, but I just couldn't help thinking that while I was watching this, that all these people thought they were fighting for freedom. At the end of the day, they were still going to get screwed, and it was just kind of, but the movie doesn't delve into slavery or any of that kind of stuff, so you oversensitive people don't have to worry about that. It doesn't delve too deeply into it, although Denzel's character is definitely embittered by his experiences being a slave, and he's the one who's speaking truth to power and being, you know, Denzel, so, and being the asshole like only Denzel can do, while Morgan Freeman is the optimistic one who's like, we're here to fight for the Union, and this is our chance to prove that we're men. And I love Matthew Broderick in this. I absolutely adore Carrie Hughes in this. I had no idea that he was even in this movie and in other movies beyond Princess Bride. So next time I see him, I'm going to have to bring this movie up because he's brilliant in this movie. That's a man who doesn't get enough work. But yeah, it's a great movie. I would definitely give the movie an A+. It was brilliant. But we're here to talk about the 4K. I don't really know. This is going to be a short video because there's not much to say. Because again, I rented. It fell on the floor because I rented the 4K. So all the extras are actually contained on a different disc on the Blu-ray probably. But on this disc, there is an extra for. There is a commentary track by the director. I'm not sure if Matthew Broderick and any of the actors do a commentary as well, but I know the directors do a commentary track. And then there's one, and that's pretty much it on the 4K release, on the 4K disc in terms of extras. But there is a deleted scene. Well, there is a commentary track, and I hate the navigation and how it's set up. It was really weird to navigate through, but in terms of picture quality, it was almost perfection. There were a few soft scenes here and there, but for the most part, especially on the wide battle shots, And like the opening sequence, it was really deep, it was rich, it was colorful, it popped off the screen. Yes, there is, again, like I said in the beginning, there is grain in the picture, but you would expect a movie like this to have grain in it. And I think the grain added to it, and it wasn't like overbearing grain, it was just kind of like grain. It was just some grain in the picture, but everything looked clean and kind of crisp, really crispy. And I'm starting to think that 4K releases, 4K works best on older movies and not newer movies. Because newer movies, you expect a lot more, I suppose, and the transfer is never really all that, isn't as good as it looks when you take something like Glory and watch it on 4K for the first time. It's like the movie was filmed yesterday. It's really, really good. So if you're a fan of this movie, there's no reason not to buy the 4K release. This is definitely an A transfer. And do I want to say it's reference quality? Maybe. It may be reference quality simply, and why do I keep looking at this? I wish I could show some video footage of this, but you know, YouTube would just block me. But yeah, this is definitely reference quality work. I really, really, really enjoyed this. So yeah, 4K Glory on 4K UHD, definitely worth a pickup. Go get it now.